powering with food. But until then, we still continue to suffer in silence. Silence! Alright, let's get started. So as always, we'll start with looking at some hands that we talked about last week. So last week we were focusing on no trump interference, and some different ways we can treat various bids there, mainly focusing on Lebensal, one of the most powerful conventions in Bridge. So we started off about talking about interference over Stayman. So this hand, for example, and I'll move this to the left so it doesn't interfere with the chat. North would open a no trump. South, of course, with a 9 count and a 4 card major should bid Stayman. The West hand with King, Queen, Jack of clubs wanting the lead should definitely double. And now with the North hand, what we said was, with the North hand, when you don't have a club stopper, you should automatically pass, regardless of what your response to Stayman would be. The reason for that is because your partner can redouble to re-ask, and that way, if you don't have a club stopper that way. If your partner responds over Stayman, they're promising a club stopper. That way, if you don't have a fit, 3 no trump is a safe contract. So with this North hand, they would pass. South should redouble to re-ask, and then North can bid 2 spades. South can either invite or potentially even pass, knowing they don't have any club stopper, but I would assume an invite with the 9 count, and then whether they get to 4 or not is a different story. Not that it's necessarily a good contract, it's on 2 finesses, but that's how you avoid, drastically playing in 3-no there when you don't have a fit and you don't have a stopper by playing that treatment. Likewise, for transfers, we gave a similar scenario. For example, on this hand, North is going to open a no trump. Shocking. South is going to bid 2 hearts to transfer to spades. West with King, Jack, 10, 9, 5th. Most Wests, at least, would probably double with this hand. And then North, having only 2 spades, should pass here. And redoubling or... am I getting this right? I gotta check my own notes. It's been a while. Teacher has to check their own notes. Great sign. We're going strong here. No, I got it right. Okay. So, with 2 card support, you're supposed to pass. A redouble should show 3 cards without a stopper, and then bidding the suit should show 3 cards with a stopper. That way, if your partner doesn't have a stopper, or they have a stopper and you're promising you don't, they may actually bid the contract themselves to right-side it. So here, with this hand, you would pass. South would redouble for the retransfer. North would bid 2 spades. And with an 8 count, you might, and knowing you don't have a spade fit, you might just contemplate passing here. And 2 spades is certainly a good stop on this contract. Then we focused a lot on Lebensal. Of course, Lebensal has a bunch of different situations that come with it. Weak bids versus strong bids versus invitational bids versus showing and denying a stopper. There's a lot to it. So first hand we take a look at is a situation in which you don't use Lebensal, but the fact you don't use Lebensal tells the story. The North hand opens a no trump. East would probably jut in with 2 hearts, assuming we're just going to assume they play natural. So they bid 2 hearts. The South hand, with a weak hand, should just simply bid 2 spades. We don't play stolen bid here. Doubles should be takeout generally. So South would just bid 2 spades, and that would be the end of it. They can bid 2 spades because they can bid their suit on the 2 level. Now, if you take a look at the reverse scenario, basically just switching the hearts and the spades from the previous hand and making East suit spades, you'd have a similar situation, but of course you can't bid 2 hearts over 2 spades. They don't give you that power in Bridge. So 1 no, 2 spades, and now this is where you need Lebensal because you're weak. And so the South hand would bid 2 no, North would bid 3 clubs, which is a forced bid, and then South would bid 3 hearts to park the contract, and that would be that. Of course, we also talked about situations in which it would actually be invitational to bid Lebensal. That is when you could bid your suit on the 2 level, but you chose to go through Lebensal anyway. For example, South here has a 9 count with 5 hearts. North opens a no trump. East barges in with 2 diamonds. Now, bidding 2 hearts here, you wouldn't want to just bid 2 hearts because that's a drop, and you're interested in getting to game. So the south hand would start by bidding 2-no. North would bid 3 clubs. Now south would bid 3 hearts, which shows an invitational hand with 5 or more hearts. And the north hand, having a fit and also having a 17 count, would gladly bid 4 hearts there, which is a good spot. Then we talked about a strong hand with no trump. Here, south is sitting on a 11 count with 5 spades, so it's certainly strong. So north opens a no trump. East barges in with 2 hearts. And now with the south hand, you wouldn't go through Lebensal, because if you were to go through Lebensal and bid 3 spades, that would be an invite. And just bidding 2 spades simply would be weak. So next step is, of course, to jump the 3 spades to show a forcing hand with at least 5 spades. So south jumps the 5 spades, and north knows they have enough for game and gladly takes it to 4. Then, of course, we also talked about situations in which you promise and deny stoppers in Lebensal and how you can show them. So, for example, here, south is sitting with an 11 count, certainly enough points for game opposite their partner opening 1-no. And it goes 1-no, and now east bids 2 hearts, and south, having enough points for game, but not having a stopper, should bid 3-no. If they had a stopper, they would go through Lebensal and then bid 3-no. So you have a distinguished auction there. Of course, it's useful to have that because if you have Lebensal and you have auctions like that, you have redundancy. And having redundancy is bad, so you should have 2 different meanings for those bids, which you gladly do in this scenario. So south would just jump the 3-no trump, and now north, knowing they have no stopper, probably wants to run away from 3-no. And so north would be recommended to run to their best suit. Here would be 4 diamonds. And whether south goes to 5 or not is, a fair question. I would probably contemplate passing, only having 4 of them in an 11 count. 4 diamonds is a great escape spot from 3-no trump, which is doomed on a heart lead. Unless, of course, they block the heart suit and lead ace-king. Which, of course, if you were playing against the robots, would almost certainly happen. But that's, if they make the standard 4th best lead, you're not going to make 3-no here. So you end up doing well for having Lebensal on the card and being able to run away from 3-no. In fact, I actually had a Lebensal hand with Sweely last night, if you guys were here on stream. She forgot Lebensal, but she jumped the 3-no, and I pulled. And then she bid 4-no to correct. I threw up my hands in the air and passed. Luckily, I made 10 tricks, but it's power. You need to know that you're playing Lebensal in those situations, so north can know if they don't have a stopper that they can safely run. Likewise, a similar situation exists for Stayman. Typically, if you Q-bid their suit after they overcall, after 1-no, it's for Stayman. And of course, you can bid it directly to deny a stopper, or you could go through Lebensal and then bid it to show a stopper. So here, for example, it goes 1-no trump, east bids 2 diamonds. South, of course, has no diamond stopper, so they bid 3 diamonds for Stayman. Now they can get to hearts. Now, if north didn't have hearts, they would be safe because they have the king of diamonds, which is a stopper. And now they could safely be in 3-no trump. But if you put the king of hearts or the king of diamonds into hearts and you make this 3 dead diamonds, now you know that, hey, even though we don't have a fit, we also can at the same time be in 3-no. So you can start to evaluate whether you need to be in a 4-3 major fit or if you need to run to like the other minor or something. Just knowing you can't survive in 4-no or 3-no trump there because of the lack of a stopper promise that came from bidding it this way versus going through Lebensal. Alright, so I think that's a good review of what we had last week. This week we're going to talk about, we're going to continue on with the convention card. If you take a look at where we are to this point, we basically filled out the entire 1-no portion. And today we'll focus on everything in that box. And then we'll be done with the no trump openers. 1.5 weeks and we already got through that. Then we're going to start to move our way down the cards. Slowly but surely we're getting there. So let's talk about 2-no. Well, for starters, we're going to play a standard range for 2-no, just like we were playing a standard range for 1-no. And you'll see this document has a lot of pages because instead of working today, I ended up like banging out the next few lessons. I was being unproductive at work, so I decided to make it productive when I wasn't watching the Fight Club matches and get some lessons in. So, for no trump, we're going to play what we were playing for 1-no. We're going to play we're going to play a standard range, 20 to 21. And we're going to really open it the same way we opened 1-no. We're going to do it with a 5-card major. We'll do it necessarily not balanced with like 5-4-2-2, 6-card minors. It's all fair game for 2-0 because you show your hand perfectly. The one thing we're going to say about 2-0 is the one disadvantage of opening 2-0, and we're going to probably mention this a lot as we traverse our way through what we have for the 2-0 responses, is a lot of room gets taken up by opening 2-0. You know, over 1-0, you had 2 full levels of bids to show your different hand types. With 2-0, you only have a few bids to show it, which makes it a lot more difficult to get everything in. And, you know, we're talking about 2/1 here, but if you were to make an argument for precision, which some of you might know is a 1-club artificial opener to show a very strong hand, this would be the reason for it. Because opening precision, which means you get to start out at the 1 level, and then getting to describe your hand at a low level with a big hand is a pretty good thing. Now, I really have never played precision, so I can't advocate for it, and I think it's not a good basis to learn a convention card from for people who are just trying to advance. But it does have its advantages there because you have a lot more room over 1 club than what you're about to have over 2-0. So, when we were talking about 1-0, we were talking about how we were going to play Puppet Stayman. But I'm going to, instead of using Puppet Stayman for 2-0, I'm actually going to use Muppet Stayman. And the reason for that is Muppet Stayman gives you a little more flexibility in the different hand types you can show. So the only difference between Muppet Stayman and Puppet Stayman is that the 3 heart and 3 no bids are reversed. So now 2-0, 3 clubs, 3 hearts denies a 4 or 5 card major instead of showing a 5-card heart suit. And 2-0, 3 clubs, 3-0 shows 5 hearts. The reason for this is with this 2-0, 3 clubs, 3 hearts, where you